Welcome in, everybody. If you're just coming in, make sure to hit the heart at the top and send your heart me for the day. Double tap, share it out. I'm going to play some music while I am sending out notifications. Oh, I got the sniffle and I'm getting sick. I woke up with a sore throat. Ugh. Welcome in, everybody. If you're just coming in, make sure to hit the heart at the top. If you're a team member, send your heart me for the day. Double tap, share it out. I've got a shit ton of stuff to talk about. This is just one of the things that I have to talk about. Then I'm going to be talking about this. At some point, I just don't know when. If I get to feeling better. Right now, I don't feel good. This may be the only live I do today. I don't know yet. It depends on if I can get my percentages done. I feel terrible. Yeah, I woke up this morning with a sore throat and I just feel yuck. Oh, hang on, y'all. They're here with my medicine from Walmart. Find my wallet. Oh, goodness. Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm feeling terrible.
Yeah, I noticed. I was like, oh, I don't want to disturb them.
No, you're fine.
Next.
Oh, I know. Oh, no, I'm fine. I woke up this morning feeling like this. Nothing ever works the way it's supposed to.
Baby sick too.
No, I was supposed to have her today, and I called Kaylee this morning. I said, I woke up, my throat's killing me, my head stopped up, I don't feel good. I'm afraid to keep her because I don't want her to get it.
Right?
How have y'all been doing?
Good.
Good.
Getting our last baby from school.
Oh, I know when Mariah graduated last year, I was so happy.
Ready. I mean, boys are big on this, so
That last one is.
It's taking a minute.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's what I get for having her already young.
Always.
Older.
Oh.
Yeah,
well, thank you. Absolutely. You too. See you later. This is what happens when you live in a small town and you know everybody that lives here, y'all. You even know the people who bring your groceries. Hang on, y'all. Gotta get this stuff put up. course, they would come right at the same time that I start going live. Oh. Oh, thank you. Welcome in, everybody. Sorry, I had to get my Walmart order at the door. I had to order some Mucinex, and they have to have your driver's license when you order stuff like that. So, yeah, I've already done that. I knew something was up because my head was hurting more than usual last night. It's this freaking weather, y'all. It was hot as heck all last week, all weekend, and then frigid. It's so damn cold today. It was cold last night, and then Thursday night it's supposed to be in the 20s. I'm in Florida. Yes, Neve, there's still a person alive that could be a danger. Now, how much of this am I supposed to take? Directions. 20 milliliters every 4 hours. All right, y'all, hang on. I'm going to take this. I was fine yesterday, and now I woke up this morning and I feel horrible. But I've got so much stuff that I found and I've been going through for the last few days, and I want to get this out here while it's fresh in my mind, or I'm going to forget it. Oh, why does this stuff always taste like ass? Oh. Well, I know. Blah, 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 blah. All right, y'all. So if you're here for the first time, make sure to follow the channel. Double tap, share it out. If you're a team member, make sure to hit the heart at the top. Channel. Double tap, share it out. If you're a team member, make sure to hit the heart at the top. What in the world? That was one of my children, and I answered, and they hung up. I'm trying to get notifications sent out, y'all, so just bear with me. I got sidetracked with my Walmart order as soon as I went live. Welcome in. Y'all make sure to share out to your stories. Double tap so we can get them in. Y'all make sure to share out to your stories. Double tap so we can get to Sorry about that, y'all. That was my daughter calling to check on me. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. If you're just coming in, make sure to hit the heart at the top and send your heart me for the day. Double tap, share it out. Make sure to share it to your stories. Can y'all hear me now? Okay, good deal. I have a ton of stuff to talk about today. And I'd forgotten all about this. But I also went back in my notes and I found a bunch of text messages between Steve Gonsalves and a TikTok creator from 2023. And it's very interesting. I'm going to show it. I'm going to show you some of those, read some of them. Because it's interesting as far as what he says the grand jury had to say about Bethany and Dylan. Not today, y'all. Not today. I've said this once. I'm going to say it again. And this is the last time I'm going to say it. I'm going to start muting people. I don't need any chat member to answer questions that people ask me. I don't need a community member to respond to other community members. That is why I have mods, and that is why I read my chat. Please don't. My goodness, it's ridiculous. If something needs to be addressed, I will address it, or one of the mods will. I'm going to go over everything about this Stingray device in just a few minutes. I'm trying to get notifications sent out, so bear with me. I'm going to go over everything about all of this. Dylan, fuck off. And you're right, I am grumpy. I don't feel good. And my tolerance for bullshit is even less today than it usually is. So if you are here for some reason other than to listen to the information that I'm going to be telling you, go somewhere else. If you can't have the patience to wait until I get through doing what I'm doing to listen to what I have to say, go somewhere else. I don't owe anybody shit. I don't get paid for doing these live streams. The only thing I get is gifts when people decide to send them. So you can take your entitled mentality, twist it, and shove it up your ass sideways. I'll sit here till tomorrow without saying a damn word. I am over people. over it. It takes more energy to be an asshole and spew diarrhea from your fingertips than it does to just sit there and wait. Jesus. I'm almost done. Now, as I was saying, there's a lot of stuff that I am going to be talking about today. What's on the screen is just one of them. I'm also going to be talking about some of that I had forgotten about. And now that Jules has mentioned it again, I remembered about Steve Gonsalves talking to Brat Norton. And I went back and found the screenshots that I had saved about that. And I'm going to be sharing some of those with you, specifically the ones where he talks about how he does not trust Dylan or Bethany, and how the grand jury said that they were suspicious and that their testimony made no sense and created more questions than it did answers. I'm going to explain what a stingray is. I'm going to explain how it was used. And why that is important. Y'all make sure to double tap, share it out. If you're a team member, don't forget to hit the heart at the top and send your heart me for the day. I am almost done. I got one more place to post. Oh, I hope this Mucinex starts working. I feel like ass. All right. I think that is everywhere. Let's see. Yep. Why is this not working? All right. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Let me get this flipped around. Okay. I feel terrible today. I'm just gonna tell y'all. I woke up with a sore throat, a stuffed up head, and I feel terrible. So I'm gonna go ahead and apologize ahead of time for my voice and for sniffling because I can't help it. My eyes are running water. But I can't say anything because this is the first time that I have been sick in over a year. So I'm thankful for that. Whew. So welcome in, everybody. If you are a team member, don't forget to hit the heart at the top and send your heart me for the day. If you're here for the first time, make sure to follow the channel. I have a lot of stuff to share. And I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube after the fact because I want as many people as possible to listen and watch this. So there is that. So let me start with this. How many of you know what a Stingray device is? If you know what a Stingray device is, put a 1 in the chat. Okay. All right. So a Stingray device is something that until the last few years was elusive and only used by higher levels of law enforcement. But it is now readily available and a lot of local law enforcement agencies use them. However, back in 2022, not so much. So it has always been speculated that Brian Kohberger's phone pings that are listed in the probable cause affidavit where it says his phone pinged in that area over 12 times. It has been speculated that a Stingray was used. And what that is and what that means, a Stingray is a device that mimics a cell phone tower. And it has a super, super strong signal. So it tricks all of the cell phones in a specific area to connect to it instead of the actual cell phone tower that it would typically connect to. So it's a way for law enforcement who are already surveilling an area. Connor, it does not say Stingray. It says cell site simulator. It is in the documents. It's in the search warrant. Would you like me to give you the actual document number? Because I'm happy to do so. I'm actually going to put it up on the screen here in just a moment. I don't say things that I can't prove. I don't do conspiracy theories. I don't do nonsense or drama. Prior to. The FBI. The FBI was the host. So now, if I can continue to explain what a Stingray device is, then I will get on with the information that I'm about to show you, because I'm going to show you the actual document title, and you can look for yourself. It's actually in the court documents that have been filed with the state of Idaho. The document name and number are on the screenshot that I'm going to be showing. Now, as I said, they are not available to the general public. They're only available to law enforcement agencies. And at the time that this crime happened, they were only available to large law enforcement agencies like the FBI. And it actually says in these documents that the FBI was the host of this device. Now, these devices, there's a lot of misconceptions about them. It's not like a tracker or like something. It's not like that. You can't put this in a static location and it just receives signals. That's not how this works. This has to be part of an active surveillance. And what I mean by that is this has to be surveillance that is already set up for a specific reason before it is able to collect the information from these cell phones. There actually has to be a person with this device who is operating a device that has the software to receive the information that the device is getting. Does that make sense? All right. So the reason that I'm explaining that is because I want you to understand and realize that somebody was there in that general vicinity. We don't know exactly where. We don't know the exact location of where this Stingray device was located. We do know that somebody was there operating it and collecting phone numbers in that particular area. Now, the question is why? Why would a larger law enforcement agency in 2022 be focused on that particular area? Because Stingray devices are only used in high-level crimes, specifically unalivings, terrorism, organized crime, and rug trafficking. Those are the four main reasons that these devices are used. This device was in place before the unalivings. That is correct. That is correct. They were surveilling something else and then served a search warrant to receive the data that that device collected during that surveillance. We do not know where it was placed. It does not give that information. And this device, typically, they look like an actual cell phone tower. They did get the data. That's how they were able to triangulate Brian Kohberger's phone. And that is how they got the 12 times that his phone pinged in that area. Once they got the data from the Stingray device, then they got in contact with AT&T to find out whose device, whose phone it was. And that is when they confirmed that it was Brian Kohberger's. It wouldn't have been in bushes. This is a device that actually has to be actively monitored by a person. And a person has to be actively monitoring it. There has to be a device with software to receive the information actively being used at the time that the Stingray is being implemented. I don't think that BK was in their sights. I think they were surveilling something else. Oh, absolutely. Others were pinged on it. Okay, so the way that this device works is it makes itself the strongest signal. So every phone in that area will connect to it. They do that so they can create patterns of traffic to specific locations. We don't know what location. We don't know why they were there. We just know they were there. Believe it or not, it's in the documents. It literally lists the FBI as the host of the device. The range differs. It depends on terrain. Think about this for a minute. I want you to think about all of this. There's a reason that I'm bringing this up right now. This is something that I've been working on for a while. Think about this. The FBI contacted Moscow PD and the Idaho State Police on December 10th. I told y'all these dates were important. December 10th, they contacted Moscow and Idaho and told them to stop their investigation into the 4 brothers. The 4 biological brothers that Othram Laboratories told them were connected to the unknown male blood on the handrail going down to the first floor. To turn over all of their evidence to them, they would continue the investigation. Then on December 19th, they called Moscow PD and told them they had gotten a tip that Brian Kohberger was a suspect. I hope that y'all are picking up what I'm putting down. And Jeannie Braden, please don't come into my chat and make asinine comments, because let me say this very clearly. If you do not have evidence to back up the statements that you make, don't make them. Not in here. And I have not once. Y'all don't have to mute people. You don't have to mute people. You don't have to block people. They're perfectly capable. I mean, they're perfectly welcome to their opinions. I'm just stating what I will and will not allow. And if they're new here, they may not know. But I don't want somebody to be blocked just because they have a different opinion than I do. They may be uneducated about the case. And this is definitely the place that you can get some education. Now, what I have said repeatedly, yes, they did illegally. They absolutely did illegally trace his DNA through a genealogical website that they weren't supposed to access. And just to clarify for anybody who's new here and doesn't know my stance on this case, I'm not pro or for anybody. I am pro justice. I am pro truth. I am pro looking at all facts of a case, all evidence from every angle objectively. Because a case and a conclusion is about the totality of evidence, not one side or the other. And the totality of evidence does not show anything that implicates Brian Kohberger as being in that house the night that this happened. Not one thing. And if you can prove that it does, pop a squat on my panel. Click the link and come up. I would love to debate you. There absolutely was more DNA found on the sheath other than his. Let me clarify that also. His DNA was not found on the sheath. His DNA was found on the inside of that sheath on the button flap. Touch DNA. Touch DNA does not place you at the location of a crime. Blood evidence does. Yet this case was based entirely on touch DNA. And the blood evidence that was in the house for unknown males was not ever followed through on. Why? There was unknown male DNA in the downstairs first floor shower, and it had blood in the drain. Unknown DNA. Not Brian Kohberger's. Unknown male DNA. In the shower drain along with blood. There's unknown male DNA on the handrail going down to the first floor. Blood. Unknown male blood on the handrail. But they chose to prosecute Brian Kohberger based on touch DNA that is on a knife sheath that just so happens to be laying directly next to two of the victims' bodies. And nobody finds that ironic. Tara, no, it wasn't. Blood was not proven older than the crime. Incorrect, dear, incorrect. No, and the others were not too disintegrated. If they had been too disintegrated, they wouldn't have been able to find out. It was unknown. It was not underneath the body, Connor. It was next to the body. And I'm not saying that he's innocent. I want to make that very clear. I've not, nor will I ever say he's innocent. I do believe that he is involved in some capacity. But I will never, ever believe that that man was able to, in under 12 minutes, because that's the time frame, from the time that that suspect vehicle is doing a 3-point turn at King Road stop sign to the time that that suspect vehicle is seen basically on 3 wheels coming around the stop sign leaving, is under 12 minutes. And in that 12 minutes, he has to find a place to park, get inside the house, unalive 4 people on 2 separate floors, gag some of them, inflict over 100 stab wounds, asphyxiate, blunt force trauma, be in physical altercations with all 4 of the victims because all 4 of them fought back and had defensive wounds. And at some point, Kaylee Gonsalves was actively bleeding in 2 locations on the 2nd floor. So how the hell did she get back up to the 3rd floor next to the wall? He also had time to tote her back up there? And yet he doesn't have one mark on his body. Not one. Tara, not true. Not true. The items from Dylan's bedroom that had blood on them were unable to be tested for DNA because the Idaho State detective in charge of getting those to the laboratory decided that it was a good idea to spray them down with a chemical agent that ruined any chance of extracting DNA from them. We do not know which ones were gagged. We only know that some of the victims were gagged. We don't know how many. We don't know which ones. We only know that some of the victims were gagged. That is a fact. That is from a court document from a closed hearing that was recently unsealed. Tara, every fucking thing I'm saying is from a court document, you dumb bitch. Fuck off. Don't tell me it's nonsense and rumors. Everything I have just stated is from a court document. Perhaps you should educate your dumbass self before you come into my fucking chat and try to tell me what I know or don't know. And anybody else who feels the same way, you can fuck off too. I don't run with rumors and nonsense. Every fucking thing I tell you on this live, unless I tell you that it's my opinion, is a fact that I have read in a court document or something that's been released from a law enforcement agency. So your dumb ass can go the fuck on and keep believing whatever your sheep ass has been told if you want to. I don't choose that. I choose to actually educate myself on facts and evidence and know the truth, instead of looking like a dumbass out here trying to tell somebody what they do or don't know. Have you seen me put up the document that showed the device? Listen, I don't know who in the hell some of y'all people think you are, honestly. Y'all might be used to running things in other people's chats, but that ain't how this shit works here. I don't owe anybody any damn thing. I don't get paid to do this other than if somebody chooses to send me a gift, and I don't owe any of you jack diddly shit. I spend a huge amount of time researching these cases, and if I tell you something, I can back it up with a damn document. And anybody that's watched me for any length of time knows that. I don't just pull things out of my ass. Oh, I am Kathy Bates. Yes, I am. Wonderful actress. Thank you, Azim. I mean, damn, I'm 65 years old. I think I look pretty fucking good. Just saying. I'm not 65. That's just some dumb bullshit that people come in saying. Oh, nursing is my jam. If we could all wear filters, bitch, here's my filter. Here's my filter. Look at there. My eyelashes are my filter. Okay, dumbass, come your ass up here and let's see what the fuck you look like. The south end of a damn mule. There's my filter. Lips are mine. Everything else is mine. I'm insecure. Okay. Okay. How did it go from insecure to looks? I'll tell you how. Because you have ignorant people who don't know how to be adults, and they come in and they choose to attack my looks or my weight or my age or something else because they don't want me to talk about what I'm talking about. And if it came down to it, brass tacks, let's just say, and they actually had to get up here on the panel and debate me about any topic, they'd lose. But they won't because they don't have the balls. The only reason they have balls at all is because they're hiding themselves behind a keyboard and they're popping a squat and spewing diarrhea from their fingertips because they wish that they had the balls to say things like that to somebody in person, but they don't. I do. I am the exact same in person as I am in private. This is me all day, every day. Like it, love it, fuck it, don't care. There's nothing fake about me other than my eyelashes. The rest is real. I literally go live on YouTube on camera all the time through StreamYard. There aren't any filters there. Thank you, Jay, for lighting up the fireworks. Thank you, everybody who sent gifts. I appreciate y'all. No, they have not commented on the new video. Listen, I've been doing this for 7 years. You're not going to insult me. Try all you want to. It's actually new audio footage. It's video, but it doesn't show anything but the house that is directly in front. Your dad watches my replays on YouTube. No, it's the footage from Linda Lane, the 1112. There's a lot of people who still haven't heard it. If you haven't heard the scream footage, the lies of them screaming. Hey, ice cream scoop. What? Lies of them screaming. Okay, I was like, what? It did come out a few weeks ago. Yes, that is correct. Oh, trust me, I get it. My phone does that mess all the time. So let me show you the documents about the device, shall we? Because there's some other things that I want to talk about as well. All right. In this document right here, and this is directly from the probable cause affidavit that was filed on December 30th, I believe, of 2022. It says that on December 23rd, I was granted a search warrant for Coburger's historical data from June 23rd to current, and a pen register trap and trace. That is what the Stingray is referred to as. Pen register trap and trace. And this is where it says that he was in that area on 12 occasions. Right there. It says 12 occasions. Prior to November 13th. Prior to November 13th. I want you to make sure you see that. Which means that whatever device they were able to get that information from was in the location prior to November 13th. Can y'all see that? The 12 occasions prior to November 13th? All right. Now, here's the document for the one who asked. You can look it up. That's the name of the document at the very bottom. Search warrant and order for a pen register or a trap and trace device and non-disclosure order. Non-disclosure order. Hello. I want to give everybody time to get that screenshot written down, whatever, before I move on, so that you can see that this is coming directly from a document. Everybody see that? Thank you, unknown. Trap and trace is what is commonly referred to as a stingray device. I went over that at the beginning. Afternoon, Ranger. If y'all are just coming in and you're a team member, don't forget to send your heart me for the day. Y'all double tap, share it out, share it to your stories. It is very much appreciated. And if you're here for the first time and you're not an asshole or a snowflake, make sure to follow the channel. I'm literally showing you what docket is. It's at the bottom. Correct, Mrs. Happy. All right. Now, this document says, it is further ordered based upon probable cause that the above identified service provider, which is AT&T, investigators and investigative agencies are authorized to use a cell site simulator in connection with the target address, and that any cell site simulator device, that is a stingray device, may be used in any geographic area necessary to locate the device using the target address in real time. That the above listed service provider and any other person served with this order, upon request, assist by providing on a 24-hour basis the listed investigative agency with all information tending to reveal or to lead to learning the location of the device using the target address, including positioning information such as GPS, yada, 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 yada. So this is basically saying this is the search warrant that was given to AT&T because of the information that was obtained from the Stingray device. Now, there's one other I want to show you. Right there. The warrant was served on 12/23/22 by sending to the FBI for service, as the FBI hosted the pin, register, and precision location response portion of this warrant. Hey, Uncle Danny. Oh, sorry, y'all. mess is about to get me. The address, we don't know what address was under surveillance. What we know is that there was a Stingray device in use in the area prior to the unalivings. So that means that the FBI was surveilling something in that area for Brian Kohberger's phone to have connected to the Stingray device. We don't know where it was located. We don't know how long they had been there. We don't know why they were there. We just know now for certain, because it's in these documents, it has been shown now. They have admitted they were there. But as I was saying at the beginning of this live, these particular devices, they have to be manned. They're not devices that can be left on their own to be used. It's not something that you can place in a location, leave it there, and then come back later and get data from it. It actually has to have a person there with an electronic device that has the software on it to take the information as it's received through this device and go through it. It is actively monitored in real time. Yes. It does not say the radius, no. Don't know who was using it. Don't know where it was at. The only thing that we know is that it was in the location and was able to pick up his phone. And I will say this. If you look up the Stingray devices, it will tell you the top 4 reasons these devices are used. These are not used for your average everyday case. They're typically only used in high-profile, serious crimes. Organized crime, rug trafficking, unalivings, or terrorism. And I'm not telling you about this because of it picking up Brian Kohberger's phone. That's not why I'm telling you about this device. I want to make that very clear. I couldn't give one flying flip that it picked up his phone. That proves absolutely nothing. Because he could have been anywhere in the area and that picked up his phone. And we know that he went to Moscow frequently. What y'all need to be more interested in is why was there a Stingray there to begin with prior to the unalivings? Bailey, it is a device that mimics a cell phone tower so that all of the cell phones in that area will connect to it. So think of it this way. It's basically a way for them to map every cell phone in a certain area. Mariah's TV is so loud. I'm not giving you any, I'm not telling you what I think. I'm not telling you anything. I'm just giving you facts. And then it's up to you to decide what you think. Just Jen, that's actually one of the biggest controversies about these devices is the invasion of privacy. That is one of the issues that most people have. Because they say that they can't intercept actual text messages and data, but that's a lie. Because if they get in, if your phone connects to their software, they can download everything from your entire phone. I'm not stupid. They are very expensive. They are very expensive. They're not as expensive as they used to be because there are a lot of local agencies now who have them. You cannot tell if your phone is connected. Nope. You would have zero idea if your phone was connected to one of these devices. There's nothing that shows you. Your phone does not act any differently. It acts just like you're connected to any other cell phone tower. Y'all, things like this are used all the time. There is no privacy. There's no privacy. There's nothing that you use that is private. Nothing. It's just like I say all the time about private messages on here and group chats and things like that. Don't say anything privately that you don't want to be made publicly because there's no such thing as a private chat. There's no such thing as a private anything in this day and age. Mariah, shut your door, please. Even then, G, there may be something listening in. You may have a freaking drone above your head listening in. Because these devices, these Stingray devices can actually be implemented through a drone. As long as there's somebody that mans them, a drone can be implemented to use a Stingray device. Oh, they absolutely do watch us. That is absolutely true, Just Jen. Absolutely true. There's no privacy anywhere. Not even in your house. If you're just coming in, y'all, please make sure to hit the heart at the top and send your heart me for the day. Double tap, share it out. If you're here for the first time, make sure to follow the channel. And why is this not working? That's weird. Like I said before, I don't get paid for live streaming. So if y'all want to help with the live goal, it is very much appreciated. I love this new one. And I want to say something, because last night on YouTube, we listened to Jack DeCour's interview again, along with Ava Wood's interview and Kai's interview, Bethany's boo thing. And I'm going to say this publicly. I don't care who likes it, because I know there's a lot of speculation that Jack was involved. And I've thought this since we heard his interview for the first time. And I want to say this publicly. I said it on YouTube last night. In my opinion, Jack DeCour is the only person, the only one who showed any genuine emotion. Every other person who has been interviewed, every friend, every acquaintance, all of them, Jack is the only person who showed emotion, who you could tell was visibly upset. You could hear it in his voice, and you could see it. He's the only one out of every single one of them who was interviewed that day. And Beaumont, I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe that he was devastated. And so many people have criticized him for saying, or for asking about the dog and being concerned about the dog. But in my opinion, I think that he was concerned about the dog because it gave him something to focus on other than what he was doing. Yeah, it was all he had left. And that pissed me off when that dumbass Brett Payne put that in the report, that he seemed to be more concerned about the dog than he was about her. Yet that dude hadn't even been to the damn house yet. And here's another thing. Has nobody thought about why they waited until 2024 to interview Kai? 2024. Why would you wait that long to interview Bethany's boyfriend? And the dude literally says he has a bad memory. Yeah, and still said Xana's name wrong 2 years later. But then I want you to think about this for a minute. Jack Showalter was cleared almost immediately. Even though around Thanksgiving of 2022, maintenance men found blood in his home that the police went and took samples of. Blood that looked like it had been cleaned off of the outside door and inside the home in multiple locations. Blood. Blood that was conveniently destroyed and was never able to be tested. Jack Showalter, who was with Kaylee and Maddie when they were walking to the Grubhub from the corner club. Jack Showalter, who in his first interview by phone distances himself from even knowing Kaylee Gonsalves and calls her that lady. What guy that age calls somebody else his age that lady? Who? And how were they able to clear him so quickly? Two, y'all. 2 pieces of blood evidence were destroyed. 2 separate occasions. All of the items out of Dylan's bedroom that tested positively, presumptively for blood, were ruined by an Idaho State Police veteran detective. Now, wouldn't you think that a veteran detective would know better than to spray items down with a chemical agent? And miraculously, the samples that were taken from Jack Showalter's house just happened to be ruined when a refrigerator went out. And where is the footage of the person who's leaving Jack Showalter's apartment around 3:50 a.m., dressed all in black in a hoodie, that is walking toward the direction of the Idaho 4 house, who disappears off camera and never shows back up on camera and is never seen returning? Where's that footage? Because I would love to see it. I would love to see how they walk. Because that footage hasn't been released. Why? We don't know. Why don't I believe in the tunnel theory? Simple. It's fantastical. There may be some old mining tunnels underneath that town. I absolutely would not doubt that. But the idea that those tunnels are connected to each house is ridiculous.
It's from my car.
Why are you doing it with it in here?
I'm about to clean my car.
Oh. Where are you going?
To clean my car.
Then where?
To get my toes.
You got dressed up to clean your car? Correct, Beaumont. Yes. Only my child would get dressed, fix their hair, and put on makeup to clean their car. Thank you, TikTok Live. She ain't running it into nobody in our yard other than a stray cat. I reckon so, Linda. We ain't got no cute neighbor. He's 80. Or the rooster, right, Miss Margie? Don't ask about those dang cats. Listen, regardless of if there are tunnels underneath the city that were dug by miners dozens of years ago, there are not entrances to them in these houses. Anybody who believes that is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And there are not fight clubs down there happening and antechambers. What do you think is down there? Some folks has been watching too many movies. Now, ask yourself this. Here's another thing that I want to talk about. We know now because of one of Cy Ray's reports that were, or an exhibit actually, that was unsealed. I do have that picture somewhere. Why, if they know that Brian Kohberger is their only suspect, if they believe he's their only suspect, if they know positively and they believe that he did this and he did this alone, at this point, he's been in jail for 1 year and 4 months. Why would you request the timing advanced phone records that show location for Jack Showalter in April of 2024? Why? Why? I would love for somebody to give me a valid reason. Co-conspirator doesn't work because they said Brian Kohberger is the only one that did it. So then why did they request Jack Showalter's timing advance records in April of 2024? 2024 was also Kai's interview, around the same time, actually. I found that interesting because y'all know I don't believe in coincidences. So what happened? Why all of a sudden in April of 2024 did they decide to interview Kai, Bethany's boyfriend, and request Jack Showalter's timing advance records? Why? And explain to me this: if Jack Decor was the first suspect, as it says in the documents, then why in the actual fuck did they not even get his fingerprints until a few weeks before Brian Kohberger took a plea deal? Almost 3 years later. Every one of those people that they interviewed should have had their DNA, their fingerprints, taken when they were interviewed. So why weren't they? Sorry, I was reading something. Jack D is who didn't have his fingerprints taken. Felicia, a Stingray device is a device that mimics a cell phone tower, and it has a very strong signal. So it causes all of the cell phones that are in that general vicinity to connect to it. Where do I get my information? Everything that I have stated has come from court documents. Everything I've stated is either from a court document or something that's been released from the Idaho State Police or the Moscow Police Department. I don't do theories or conspiracy theorist bullshit. Everything I talk about is fact-based and evidence-based. How did I find everything? Because I have read every single document that has been filed in court and every document that has been released. I've read them. I may not be able to find them twice, but I've read them. Thank God for Wyo Mama. Nicole, yes, constantly. Y'all know we don't get paid for live streams. If you can help out with the live goal, it is appreciated. No, I have not, Beaumont. Where do I get my tinted moisturizer? Walmart. Actually, I have a bunch of different kinds. I use Tarte. I use Maybelline. I have some CoverGirl. I have some Almay. I have all kinds of tinted moisturizer. If I had to name a favorite, it would be Tarte. But they all work the same. And we are having a makeup sale on Thursday. My daughter has a makeup business. Susan. Thank you, Ashley. All kinds of makeup. All name brand. All brand new. Anything and everything. Skincare too. Oh, I have a bunch of Korean skincare too that we're going to be selling on Thursday. We do those sales on YouTube. On my YouTube channel. I sell them. She does everything else. She doesn't like to be on camera. It's on my YouTube channel. It's going to be at 1 p.m. on Thursday. My skin is not flawless. I got a zit right between my eyes. See? Central Time. So, y'all know that I have expressed my intense displeasure with the families for not speaking out about this newest surveillance footage. And I saw something that somebody sent me a screenshot earlier of a post that Jules had made about Steve Gonsalves text messages with Brett Norton, and I had forgotten all about those. So I went back and I pulled up some of the text messages that Steve Gonsalves was sending to Brett Norton, and I wanted to read them to you because I think it might provide some insight into the reason that I started side-eyeing them to begin with. Would y'all like to hear those? I did it one time before. Back when Brat first put these out, I went over these. And I had honestly forgotten about it. And let me say this. Anybody who thinks that Steve Gonsalves and his family doesn't side-eye and question Dylan and Bethany, buckle up. So to every single one of you out there who says we're victim shaming, victim blaming, leave them alone, go tell Steve Gonsalves that. Because every single thing that we think, so does he. But here's my thing about it. Y'all know me. I am the exact same in public as I am in private. So why say something in private, but then portray a completely different outlook in public? If you don't think there's a reason, well, this was even before the 400 million. So Brat Norton was a TikTok creator, may still be, I don't even know. And she was going back and forth with Steve. He was actually answering her. They talked on the phone, and she would send him information that she got. He would send her information that he got. And it's very interesting the things that they exchanged and the things that they said. And in one of Brat's live streams, because she did go live, there was a person that kept coming in there and putting information in the chat. And Brat said that she was in personal contact with this person, and they were an actual neighbor of the Idaho 4. I don't have any thoughts on that being on her arm. There are enough things that don't make any sense in this case for me to not have to speculate. Because it could mean anything. She's not that bright. Yes, Dot. Correct. But then there was another person that kept coming into her chat. Now, Dot was confirmed to not be true. This Dot person was found out to be a total fake liar, just giving false information. But then there was another person that was coming into her chat that was giving information that, the con artist was Dot, that they could never find out who it was. And the person kept saying that they were going to contact them, but they never did. Hey, Steph. And that person left some interesting comments. But one thing that I thought that was interesting, and Dot actually said this too, and I don't know if she was just mimicking something that the other people had said, or she was just repeating a rumor that she had heard, but I thought that this was an interesting statement that was made in the chat. And I remember back when I first saw this screenshot, whatever year this was, I can't even remember. I thought to myself that this is interesting and would actually make sense that Brian was doing rugs with Brent Kopaka in Brian's car that night. That would actually make sense, because we know, or if you've researched Brent Kopaka, you know that he used rugs to help with his paranoia and PTSD. He didn't take his prescription drugs. He used illicit drugs, which actually contributed to his paranoia rather than help it. So I could absolutely see how that would be plausible. This person also said that Bethany wasn't there that night, that they knew that for a fact. Now, Dot is also the person who in the chat said that they were all out in the backyard. So if you've heard that rumor, that's where that came from. Well, and I'll tell you, Annie Mae, something that I found interesting in Kai's interview is that he said he had spent almost every night at their house, but he didn't spend that night. Why? That his roommate busted in his bedroom, busted his door open to make sure he was there when they found out that something had happened over there. Because he had been staying every night at Bethany's house. Well, gee, maybe she left her phone there. I also found it interesting that Kai was very specific about Xana, Kyla, that Xana used to hang out with him and his roommates all the time before she got with Ethan. And then he started dating Bethany. Why did neither of those girls, neither of them, contacted their boyfriends? Neither Dylan nor Bethany, who are supposed to be so scared that they lock themselves in a bedroom, but neither one of them text or call their boyfriends. Why? Because y'all damn well know that every woman who is afraid or something important has happened is going to call their boyfriend. Typically after they call 911. But why didn't they? And I've said this repeatedly the last few weeks. I mean, every time something important happens in my life, I call Sweet Cheeks. He's in another country. Why wouldn't you call your boyfriend? They didn't text their boyfriends. They didn't call their boyfriends. Yet Dylan is on Indeed. They're on Snapchat. They're taking videos, taking pictures. Why? Well, Miss Perduto, there's a rumor, and y'all know that I always tell y'all if I'm repeating something that's a rumor. There has been a rumor for years that Maddie and Dylan got into it about the rug dealing that was happening in the house, and Maddie flushed a bag of rugs. Which would make complete and total sense and go along with the information that Farley gave about being given a job that he fucked up. I've told y'all since day one, that I believe that this was a message. Good question. I think you're spot on, Delta. There's also a rumor that the week prior to this happening, Ethan had an overdose. And that Xana and Ethan were helping Dylan deal, but they were using some of the products. I've told y'all that I believed that every person that was unalived for a reason. So you think about this. Ethan was a great student. A great student until the 6 weeks prior to this semester. And in 6 weeks, his grades dropped so low, he was kicked out of his fraternity, and his parents had to get him an apartment. He lived alone. So why wouldn't he and Xana stay at his apartment, where they have a whole ass apartment to themselves, privacy? Why would they stay at her little room? It will, Blake. What could make a college student who has been focused on academics, what could make their grades drop so drastically in such a short amount of time? We know that both Xana and Maddie were having money issues. And But Kaylee bought a Range Rover. Yeah, Xana dropped out of her sorority. Her parents said she bought it by herself. Yeah, they said that Kaylee's grandmother helped her pay for some of it. Range Rovers are expensive, even when they're old. And $1,000 from a grandmother, I don't think Jack Decor was involved, no. He's the only one of all of them that showed any kind of emotion. I haven't read the text messages yet. And I know that because my sister had one. $1,000 is a drop in the bucket, and that wasn't an old Range Rover. That was a relatively new one. Yeah, I don't believe in that Fight Club stuff. I haven't heard anything about that either. There's no proof of that. I haven't heard that, Shadow. That's just somebody's. You can hear anything you want to. And in any footage like this, you can hear anything that you want to. I don't think anything about the Brotherhood. What Brotherhood? You mean the Aryan? Oh, I absolutely believe that. There are way too many things that point to Ruggs being involved in this. Way too many. Everybody, oh my God, the Masons. Everybody always brings up the damn Masons. What does double dipping mean? Double dipping typically means that you're taking more than you're supposed to. And I've heard a lot of people say that they hear that on that footage. typically with double dipping, especially with rug dealers, it means that you're making money and using product. Yes, Xana, in the comments, in the statements that the friends gave, they said that Xana used coke, that she was known to frequently use coke, and that she also had snorted Adderall that night before they left. And that her and Ethan frequently used Adderall. We absolutely know who Farley is. There's literally a rolled up dollar bill, a credit card, and rug residue in the crime scene photos in Xana's bedroom. We wouldn't know if they did test the residue. I was reading comments, Nicole. So I'm curious. Thank you, Angie. Is there... I think that Kaylee told some things that she shouldn't have told because she was comfortable with the person she was telling. And I think there's probably more to this story, this rumor that she was dating a police detective, undercover narcotics officer, than meets the eye. Maybe she didn't know what he did. Maybe she just thought that he was an officer. She didn't realize he was undercover narcotics. Hunter, Chief. He was also married, had a pregnant wife. Hello, ADHD. So if all of these rumors are true, and I'm doing some theorization here. I typically don't do this, but I'm going to do it today. So if all these rumors are true, if Maddie flushed a bag of drugs because her and Dylan got into it about the rug dealing, if Kaylee had told her fling about the rug dealings going on in the house. If Ethan and Xana were skimming off the top and using product, Farley's tip makes absolute sense if that is the case. Because what better way to scare the shit out of them than to send somebody in to beat the fuck out of them? Or to beat one of them in front of the other? To scare them shitless? To show them that they're not going to put up. And Farley took a crew in, and that crew just happened to be as unhinged as he was. I think Farley was involved. I absolutely believe that that is his name being screamed in that footage from Linda Lane. I think Xana recognized him because he was an associate of her mother's. Mowich, Farley, Head Stabber, they all three were associated in some way with Xana's mother through the rug community. The only one who wasn't is Kopaka. I think they died because one of them went too far and they had no choice. I don't think Charlie Reed is involved. Farley literally says that Mowich fucked up the job. That Mowich fucked up the job, and that is why he was killed. Y'all, anybody who believes that this case is about Brian Kohberger being pissed off because one of those girls rebuffed his romantic advances, give me a fucking break. I'm reading comments. Thank you, Lady Justice. Why do I think that BK didn't talk? I wouldn't talk either. The touch, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, the freaking knife sheath and that touch DNA is so freaking obvious. It's literally like a spotlight. I do sell the lip glosses and stuff that I wear. My daughter's makeup sales. She's having one on Thursday on my YouTube channel. I don't think that the people who did this are the ones who covered them up. I think the people that lived there were when they went up there to check on them. I think they covered them up because they couldn't stand to look at them. I absolutely think that Dylan covered them up. That's my opinion. D. Statistically speaking, look up why people cover people up. I don't think she was involved in the actual unalivings, but I think she was involved. Absolutely. Mowich was American Indian. He belonged to 2 separate tribes. I have the names of them somewhere. So let me read you some of these text messages from Steve Gonsalves. So this is between him and Brat Norton, like I said, and I'm not going to read all of them. I'm just going to read you a few of them. But before I do that, no, Farley wasn't either. People keep asking about Farley and Mowich. So let me explain that for those of you who don't know. Nicholas Mowich was a lifelong criminal who bragged in jail about being an enforcer or a security guard, per se, for rug go-playing traffickers. Two days after the Idaho 4 unalivings, excuse me, on November 15th, Nicholas Mowich was found wandering around disoriented in Lewiston, 30 miles away from Moscow. He was covered in bruises, cuts, and stab wounds. When the first responders asked him what had happened, he said he had been in a car accident. But they transferred him to Spokane, and the doctors there said that his wounds were not consistent with a car accident. That his wounds were consistent with defensive wounds from fighting off a knife attack. Nicholas Mowich then died on November 19th from his wounds. He was cremated. He was in a car accident, but it was in October. Thank you, Cassidy. Now, Farley, who was an FBI informant and a known rug go-playing trafficker, gave law enforcement a tip that Mowich had been given a job at the King Road house and that he fucked it up. And that is why he received the injuries he received. That Mowich took a crew to that house to send some messages. And that it went wrong and things happened that weren't supposed to happen. And his injuries were the result of that. Then you have Brent Kopaka, who was a former military special forces paratrooper who worked at Washington State University, lived across the street from Brian Kohberger, drove the exact same car, same color. He was unalived after a standoff with the police on December 15th. And when Brian Kohberger and his father were pulled over on their way back to Pennsylvania, they were actually listening to the news broadcast about the standoff. Tink, I've shown all this evidence. Every bit of what I'm telling you is absolute fucking fact. Everything that I'm saying is a fact. And I've shown evidence to prove it. Anyway, Ethan's parents are actually listed. Stacy is listed as the contact person. Tink, did I say that Brian was set up? How about you holster your fingertips, shut the fuck up, pop a squat, and listen. You might learn something. I'm telling y'all, I'm not in the mood tonight. I'm just not. I don't feel good, and I am less in the mood for people's bullshit and nonsense than I usually am. And my tolerance is low on a good day.
Kaylee told me to ask you about tomorrow.
I think I'll be all right. I'll just muddle through. I don't want her to get this. That's my only problem. Farley was, why the fuck I'm here? Why the fuck are you here? I ain't here to answer your fucking questions. I ain't your bitch. Are you paying me? Fuck no. Neither's TikTok. I'm doing this shit for free. I don't owe you shit, nor anybody else. Did you send me a gift? Because I sure as fuck didn't see it. Fuck you and that broke down horse you rode in on. Does anybody else want to be stupid? Or can I continue? Listen, folks, let me go ahead and introduce myself to those of you who've never been here before. I match energy. I treat people accordingly. If you're nice, I am too. If you're not, neither am I. Then unfollow. I don't give a fuck. I don't do this shit for followers or clicks or views. I don't give a fuck if you follow me or not. But it's funny to me that you had to make an announcement that you were going to unfollow because I didn't even fucking know you followed to begin with. Who the fuck are you? Just saying. Did it make you feel better to announce yourself, to get a little attention? Let me guess. You're looking for somebody to powder your ass too. I ain't your mama. I have 3 adult children and a granddaughter. I don't need any more children. How I deal with them? I've been dealing with them for 7 years. I'm used to it. I enjoy it sometimes. Most of the time it's amusing to me. The most amusing ones are the ones who think they get under my skin. Shit. Oh, I can absolutely be rude. Absolutely. But if I am, you deserve it. I don't just go live to call people out or tell them to fuck off. If you get a response, it's because you deserve it. Own it. It's always, though, always, I don't know if you've noticed this, but this is typical with all cases. I'm always the person that is bad. I'm such a terrible person because I respond, but they never speak about what they did to get that response or that reaction from me. They're always innocent victims. Yeah, because I go live to talk about these cases because I just want to go tell somebody to fuck off. How about you just not be a dumb, condescending, stupid-ass bitch? Then we wouldn't have a problem. Well, I absolutely can be mean. I ain't even been mean. I haven't even been mean on TikTok. Somebody's outside my yard screaming. I'm going to play my song to go see what's going on, and I'll be right back. What the hell?
Well, I ain't a bitch till you make me one. Pushing my buttons, I go off like a shotgun. And I can be a stone cold bitch if you make me one. My attitude depends on you. Don't be coming in here with no bad mood. No, it ain't my time of the month this week. Stir me up and it just might as well be. Gonna try me out, boy, if you want to. But you just not bitten off more than you can chew. 'Cause I ain't a bitch till you make me one. I ain't a bitch. Pushing my buttons, I go off like a shotgun. And I can be sweet and I can be fun. But I can be a bitch if you make me one. I can be a stone cold bitch if you make me one. Oh, I ain't a bitch till you make me one. I ain't perfect, I'm pretty calm until you light the fuse and set off the bomb. Don't get under my skin, get me provoked. Show good days going up in smoke. There goes. I ain't a bitch till you make me one. I ain't a bitch. Pushing my buttons, I go off like a shotgun. And I can be sweet and I can be fun. But I can be a bitch if you make me one. I can be a stone cold bitch if you make me one.
I'm freezing again.
Mama had an attitude, learned from her. I don't take no shit
That I don't deserve.
It ain't ladylike.
It's a little redneck.
But if you gon' start it, I'm gonna finish it. I ain't a bitch till you make me one. I ain't a bitch. Pushing my buttons, I go off like a
Damn
shotgun.
cats.
And I can be sweet and I can be fun. But I can be a bitch if you make me one. I can be a stone cold bitch. Boy,
Don't flip my switch.
my switch. Make me one. Oh, I ain't a bitch till you make me one. Oh, I ain't a bitch till you make me one. No, I ain't a bitch till you make me one.
My eyes got dark. So it was Hannah screaming at the cats. Y'all, those damn cats. Miss Margie, I just told her to let the dog out. That is exactly what I just told her. I don't understand it. I'm so over these freaking cats. I don't have a dog. My daughter has a dog. It's a mutt. All right, so let me go through these text messages. So these are, I'm not going through all of the text messages. I'm just going to read you some specific ones that I had taken screenshots of back when these first came out. Because these, I think, these are the ones that stood out to me. And these text messages are between Steve Gonsalves and Brat Norton. Brat Norton was a TikTok creator. I don't know if she still is or not. Is she still? Okay. I didn't know if she was or not. So this that I'm about to read you, this is Steve talking in the beginning. He says, I talked with Hunter. He said he found Ethan. We also talked with a neighbor the day this happened. She had a wild story that she heard from the survivors saying what happened. He doesn't say what that wild story is, just that one of the neighbors gave them a story that the survivors told them. Said that both Maddie and Kaylee's toxicology came back clear, and that Stacy said Ethan's was clear as well. I don't believe that. Anybody can say anything. If all of their toxicology reports were clear, then why is it sealed? Why would you seal a clear toxicology report? I don't believe that. Okay, so here's the challenge to you, Steve. Unseal it. If it's clear, unseal it. If it's a clear, clean toxicology report, then you should have no problem. None of the parents should have a problem unsealing them, because that would prove what you're saying. Yes, the parents want them sealed. Steve's not talking because he has a $400 million lawsuit against the Washington State University. $400 million. Abby, Steve says right here that they were clear. Court timeline. Hey, Gaines. There was no trial. Y'all, I'll have to turn off my Facebook because it's going off constantly. All right. And listen to this, because this is coming. Oh, I absolutely don't believe them either, because if the toxicologies were clear, then why would they be sealed? He won't have a trial. He took a plea deal. Viola, Steve talks for himself. All right, this next one is interesting because this one is from Steve. This is Steve speaking. He says, remember the report that Bethany saw a naked guy? We heard he took this off at the glass slider, placed it in a plastic garbage bag, and she noticed him leaving in his underwear. He said they have the receipt for it, and he purchased it at Pullman Walmart on camera. Well, that would negate her having exculpatory evidence, right? And this is something else that I had forgotten about. They convened the grand jury right before Bethany was supposed to testify with exculpatory evidence. Yes, this is about the Idaho 4. This is Steve again. I'm not sure what all is being said, but I have heard repeatedly that Dylan is shady and should be looked into. Now listen to this. This is from Steve Gonsalves himself. The grand jury members both said they didn't believe her testimony, and it created more questions than answers. They said some of them think that she should be investigated. But for reasons that we do not fully understand, they didn't do it. Bethany was as shady. We only had so much time to ask questions. Tell me again how the families believe the girls. I can't remember the exact date these were released. It was either 2024 or 2023. I just read that wrong. Let me correct myself. I want to reread this because I read you a blurry version. I had two versions of this, and it did not say what I just read. So let me correct myself. This is the accurate version. The grand jury members both said they didn't believe her testimony, Dylan's, and it created more questions than answers. They said some of the grand jury members wanted her to be investigated, but for reasons that we do not fully understand, they didn't feel that Bethany was as shady. We only had so much time to ask questions. So the grand jury suspected Dylan and wanted her to be investigated, but they didn't think that Bethany was as shady. This is Steve Gonsalves telling somebody this. Now listen to this one from Steve. One thing most people don't know is Dylan and especially Bethany are well connected and have friends in powerful positions. I have always believed that the parents know what happened. I said that I've always believed that the parents know what happened. Why did Ethan's mom say 2 a.m. is the darkest hour? So, here's another one from Steve. Xana's family has some history, but I was told she did party drugs like Molly, but nothing that was hardcore that could lead to behavior like this. Listen to this. He's talking about Farley. We do have a long story about another story that came from a jailhouse so-called snitch, but it never developed into anything we could prove. We spent weeks trying and interviewing some shady leads. And in this one, he says the real one, he's talking about cameras. The real one, the one we have from the light bulb cam, has Murphy going fucking crazy, but no clear names or anything close to that. This is about Dylan, and this is also Steve Gonsalves speaking. She is for sure. He's responding to Brat saying that Dylan is shady and questionable and needs to be looked into. He said, she is for sure. But she is protected by her stepmother's law firm. Sounds like there is some power in that firm. They're also being helped by Jack Showalter's family. They threatened to sue me pretty early into the case. Sent someone to my house. They trespassed, came down my driveway right up on my porch. It was pretty wild. They have a full phone dump of both girls' phones. I'm actually going to put this on YouTube. These messages are between Steve Gonsalves and a TikTok creator, Brat Norton. Steve Gonsalves is who is making all of these statements. I'm going to upload this video on my YouTube channel. Whew. So what he was just responding to, saying that she is, but she's protected by her stepmother's law firm, this is the statement he was responding to. You and I both know how fucked up this entire situation is, but what's worse is the story of that morning. No one in their right mind sees and hears things in that house and then decides to either go to sleep or leave and or not call 911. Like, end of story. I'm sure she'll have some great explanation as to why, but it's such bullshit. Everyone thinks Dylan's story doesn't make sense. It never will because she's lying. And Steve says, she sure is. She is for sure. But she is protected by her stepmother's law firm. Sounds like there's some power in that firm. They're also being helped by Jack Showalter's family. They threatened to sue me pretty early into the case, sent someone to my house. They trespassed, came down my driveway right up on my porch. It was pretty wild. They have a full phone dump of both girls' phones.
Can you wait for like 2 seconds?
Hang on just a second, y'all. Okay, sorry, y'all. All right, here's the next one. Steve says, oh, he knows they're leaked. They were leaked over a year ago. Steve says, then he says this. The grand jury members said that Dylan's testimony was complete bullshit and created more questions than answers. They said to the extent that some stated she should be charged. Oh, I agree with the statement as well. He said, this is Steve Gonsalves speaking. and he's talking about Dylan. He says the grand jury members said that her testimony was complete bullshit and created more questions than answers. They said to the extent that some stated she should be charged. Absolutely, Tracy. I've said from jump that her and Bethany should be charged. The grand jury transcripts are sealed. So then Brat Norton says, I think everyone has a bad taste in their mouth about Dylan. It's so obvious she's lying. I pray it all comes to light, fingers crossed. And then Steve responds and says, yep. And she wrapped up right in, I'm a victim, so none of you can say shit about me. Tell me again how the parents don't doubt the victims. Well, Dylan knows that these texts are circulating again. The parents have gone quiet because of the lawsuit. They don't want to jeopardize their lawsuit against Washington State University. They have 100 million reasons each to be quiet. Not only that, but you have to think about this. If the parents come out and say, yes, this video footage that you're listening to is real. If they come out publicly and say that, two things are going to happen. No, Shauna, I don't. Two things. One, their lawsuit, null and void. They can kiss that 400 million goodbye. Two, it provides Brian Kohberger with an alibi. Because at the time that these screams happen, he hasn't even left his home yet, according to the data on his phone from the prosecution. Now, if they come out publicly and say it's not true, it's not their voices, then that is going to call into question the probable cause affidavit. Because the same exact camera is used to corroborate Dylan's statements and establish a timeline. You can't have it both ways. It either is valid and these are the voices, or it's not. Justine, what are you talking about? I'm going to upload this live to my YouTube channel if anybody missed it. It's way too much to recap. My YouTube channel is NC Anonymous. Can somebody pin that, please? I have to download it and then upload it, so it'll be a little bit. Yeah, I'll be on YouTube tonight at some point. There is the, that's not the right one. Hang on. Thank you, Lori. All right, there you go. There's the channel name. Justine blocked them. NC Anonymous 25, they said. All right, next one. Listen to this. I would be this is from the TikTok creator. She said, I would be screaming from the rooftops to help my friends get justice. Instead, her and Bethany just dip out. Steve said, no. They said she heard everything and even admitted saying via text, I think someone killed them. She just didn't call and report it, even as she was hiding. So what have all of y'all got to say now? All y'all out here defending Dylan. Now what? I just pinned my YouTube channel because I'm going to be uploading this after. I also go live there every night, typically after I finish on YouTube. So those are the ones that I made copies of. There are over 600 of these texts back and forth. No, between Steve Gonsalves and this TikTok creator. These text messages were released by the actual TikTok creator herself. Yeah, Steve Gonsalves denied that he did them, so Brat published them. He denied the things that she said that he was saying, and so she said, well, here you go. If you're just coming in, please make sure to hit the heart at the top and send your heart me for the day if you're a team member. And if you're here for the first time, make sure to follow the channel. Thank you, the real OG. And if y'all appreciate the content, learn something, helping out with the live goal is very much appreciated. Brett Norton released them a year or so ago. It's not an interview. This is them going back and forth in texts. If you search Brett Norton, Steve Gonsalves texts, there is an entire drive of every text message. You can look at every one of them. There's a lot of stuff that's shared. I just showed the I just took screenshots back then of the main ones. All right, does anybody have any questions before I get off of here for a little bit? I'm gonna battle tonight if I don't meet my goal during live. I did not, Harmony. Yes, you can buy my makeup on Thursday. My daughter is going to be having a makeup sale. My daughter and I do the selling. She does everything else. On Thursday at 1 p.m. Central on my YouTube channel, my daughter and I will be having a makeup sale, and it is all brand name, brand new items, skincare, cosmetics. Gold Dust, let me go back and read your comment. When did Farley go to prison? Was he out during the murders? Yes, he was out during the murders. He was in jail for rug trafficking. And then in October, he was released, October 14th, actually, on a furlough because of a sick relative, and he absconded. And he was not apprehended again until the end of November. So he was out when the unalivings happened. I have to get to 40% tonight, Nana. Absolutely. I do take PayPal on. Absolutely. I do take PayPal on. Sorry. My daughter called. Can y'all hear me now? I always answer my kids. So if I freeze or something happens, that's why. I don't care what I'm doing or what I'm talking about. I'm always going to answer them. All right, y'all. I'm going to get off of here for now. I'm going to download this and then upload it to YouTube. So if you missed it, you can watch it. And then I will be back on here probably around 6:37 Central. So an hour and a half, 2 hours. And we'll go through it again. Thank you, everybody. I will see y'all soon. My YouTube name is NC Anonymous. The link is in my bio on my link tree. NC Anonymous. Absolutely. All right. See y'all later.